Well, the Browns lose yet another game. They fall to 3-10. They are now officially eliminated from the playoffs, and we are getting closer and closer to the end of the season. Finally, um, thank God. But today was just not that great of a day all around for the Browns. It was just one of those days where you would just really did not want to watch football. The Browns lose 27-14. Jameis, after throwing for almost 500 yards last week on Monday, throws two interceptions in this one, and then he also threw for two touchdowns. But just absolutely not great at all for the Browns. Defensively, they looked overpowered by the Steelers' offense. They looked decent in the first quarter. They held the Steelers and Russell Wilson to pretty much like I think what 13 yards. Like Russell Wilson at one point was like 4 of 10 for 14 yards at one point, I think in like the early second quarter. So the Browns were doing pretty good defensively against Russell Wilson for like a quarter and like a fifth. So like a little bit like the first quarter and then like a little bit into the second quarter. But after that, it was just absolutely abysmal by the defense. They give up 27 points to the Steelers. Just not great. Russell Wilson, he doesn't throw for 175 yards, but he does throw two touchdowns. Even though they don't have George Pickens out there, they still are able to get the job done. Najee Harris continues to do good. Jalen Warren continues to turn into freaking, prime Barry Sanders against the Browns for some reason. I don't know why the Browns always have some issues whenever they have to defend him, but for some reason he always does well against the Browns. But yeah, this game just goes to show you the Browns have a lot of holes, not just the quarterback that they have to deal with this offseason. They need a left tackle, they need a linebacker, they need a safety, they need another corner. Greg Newsome is going to have to go. I don't see how you can keep Greg Newsome. He continues to get cooked by no-name guys. Really, I mean, not even no-name guys, just guys who you think he'd pretty much be fine at going up against. He's getting cooked. Same thing with Martin Emerson this year. I don't know what's going on with him, if he's injured, if there's stuff going on behind the scenes. I have no idea what's going on with him. But those two need to figure it out this offseason. I don't know if Greg Newsome's going to be back next season. Probably, I would say try and find some other way to get like a draft pick, maybe a 5th-round pick or something like that for Greg Newsome if you can. But the Browns are going to have a lot of things to look at this offseason, whether you're going to sign someone or bring guys in through the draft. Currently, what I saw with the draft picks after all the games have been played, Jacksonville won their game today, so I think they dropped down to like 4th. But the Giants and the Raiders lost. They're 2-11. So they're going to be 1-2 respectively. The Browns, once I last checked, this was like an hour ago. The Browns currently have the 8th pick in the draft. So probably not going to get guys like Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders or any guys like that with that type of draft pick. But if you're going to be able to get maybe an offensive lineman, maybe a defensive lineman, I don't know. Or maybe you can even get Ashton Genty from Boise State. But the Browns are going to need a lot of guys coming up in this draft. You're not going to get everyone, or at least get every hole filled in this draft. But you're going to have to get a lot of different pieces because there's a lot of holes in this sinking ship. But we also have to talk about Dustin Hopkins. My God, 2 more missed field goals again today. I believe he's 2 of his last 9. He's only made 2 of his last 9, or he's 2 of his last 9, or no, maybe 2 of his last 7. But he has just been awful this year. He's missed, I think, 9 field goals this year in total. Just absolutely abysmal. And the worst part is that it's not like he's missing from 50 plus. Like if it's 50 plus, I usually give more of a leeway. It's more like a 50-50 shot. Okay, if you miss like from 54, I'm not really going to hold it against you. But that's not the problem with Dustin Hopkins. This dude is missing from 38 yards. He's missing from 30 yards. He's missing from sub 40. That is really concerning. That is not even just like for this season for the Browns, like, or for him. This is like concerning for like his career. Because if you're going to be a guy who's kicking in the NFL, now granted, we knew Dustin Hopkins, we kind of fooled ourselves into believing that Dustin Hopkins was an elite kicker. His track record in his career Did not show that at all. His career as a kicker was more like he was a mediocre kicker from pretty much anywhere like below 50 yards and pretty much very bad 50 plus yards. We're kind of getting the outside of the 1 year wonder of Dustin Hopkins. So we should have seen this coming at some point that Dustin Hopkins would regress to his mean during his career. But my God, we didn't see this coming. He was 33 of 36 last year. I think he was perfect from 50 or missed one field goal from 50 yards last year. This dude can't hit the broadside of a barn. And I would make a joke, but it's probably going to miss harder than Dustin Hopkins is missing from all year. I don't know, but this team is just absolutely laden and filled with holes from top to bottom. And it just sucks that we kind of got conned. It feels like we got conned into believing that this team could be good. Um, and, like Jameis Winston is fun. He's a fun quarterback to watch. He's not going to win you that many games. He's not going to lead you to a championship. He's not going to lead you to the playoffs. He's just a good stopgap. So if the Browns want to keep him for another year and try and get, maybe a guy in the next year's draft, maybe there's a guy coming out in free agency. I haven't looked that far yet in free agency. If there's a quarterback coming out that's intriguing to the Browns, I have no idea. But right now we're kind of back to square one with trying to figure out what quarterback we're going to take, because this year, outside of really Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, there's really no one good in this draft that I can really think of. I'm not really impressed with anybody from this upcoming draft. Now, upcoming drafts in the future, then yeah, we can get on, we can go talk about Arch Manning. We can talk about the kid from Tennessee who the Ohio State's going to be playing against actually this Saturday at the Shoe. You got guys like Dylan Raiola and other guys like that. So we'll be able to get more in depth and more better QB prospects in the next couple of years and next couple of drafts. But I am not looking forward. I'm not really betting or pushing all my chips into the middle on this year's draft class in terms of quarterbacks when there's only like two guys that I would consider taking in the first round in terms of quarterbacks. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed this season. Again, the Browns have their 18th double-digit losing season since coming back in 1999. That's 25 years, by the way. This is the 25th year they're back. So they've had 7 years where they have lost less than 10 games. They've lost less than 10 games 7 times. 7 times. And to be fair, this is the second season under Kevin Stefanski where they've lost double-digit games. The first one being in 2022 when Deshaun Watson came back, and it was the Jacoby Brissett year. They went 7-10, lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the last game. They were 7-9. Then they went to 7-10. This year they're going to be I would assume they're probably going to be 3-14 or 4-13. So they're not going to win. They're going to only win like 4 games or maybe 5 if they're lucky, but maybe 3 to 4 wins during this season. So they're going to win. They're going to lose 13 games this year. It's not a great year for the Browns, and I don't think it's going to get that much better for the next couple of years until you get a quarterback that you can try and build around. But if this is going to be the case, if you're going to try and tank for Arch Manning next year, you're going to have to try and do it, because if Arch Manning is the guy that a lot of people think he is, or at least he's going to be in the NFL, if he's going to be a better version of Peyton or Eli or whoever, then you're going to have to go in and try and get that guy. But right now, the Browns just have a lot of holes they need to work with. Like, Juan Thornhill's not coming back next year. That's obviously going to not happen again. Jed Wills is done. He's not going to play again this year. He's not going to play again for the Browns. Greg Newsome, I think his time is very limited with the Browns going forward. But the one bright spot that we can see from this game is that, one, Jerry Jeudy still, you can probably get him to be a number 1, if not a very, very, very good number 2 receiver. David Njoku still has stuff that you can work with. He's still a pretty good tight end. And, you're going to have to try and get a running back, because Nick Chubb, I don't think he's going to come back and be the same Nick Chubb that we all once had. I don't think he's going to be that guy anymore. So, whether you get an Ashton Genty in the draft, whether you get, an offensive tackle, whatever, more and more I'm starting to think that probably what the Browns should do is just go best player available in this draft. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. Let me know what you guys think about the draft, what the Browns should do. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. It helps us out in the algorithm. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you guys have not subscribed yet, or if you know someone who likes Cleveland sports content or just likes sports in general and they haven't found this channel yet, tell them about this channel. Word of mouth always helps out with this channel and helps out with small channels like ours. So make sure you guys tell them about this channel. Tell them to hit subscribe, hit like button on the videos. It'll do massive, massive, massive help to this channel and try and get it to grow. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all in another video. Take care.